just can't keep faking it. It's too hard. That's why a lot of these celebrities that start these things, they can't keep up. You know, like the Meghan Markles.
But you're the same.
You're the same.
Like, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Like, guys, you don't got to do this. Please, I'm begging you to stop.
Wasn't there some speculation that she was on Epstein's yacht at one point in time?
Most of Meghan Markle's yacht girl pics have been scrubbed from the internet.
There was a sex tape about her.
And I saw it.
There was like photos with her and Prince Andrew way back in the day when she was like in her early 20s.
And in the tape, she's performing a sex act on him that's unbelievable.
All right, let's talk about what just happened, because this is bigger than a joke, bigger than a podcast clip, and way bigger than Meghan Markle herself. Harry didn't just get annoyed this time. He reportedly lost it. And honestly, if even half of this is true, you can see why. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. This didn't come from a British tabloid. It didn't come from palace insiders. It didn't come from sources close to the royal family. It came from Joe Rogan. And that's why this moment matters. Because Joe Rogan is immune to the traditional weapons Meghan Markle's camp has always relied on. He doesn't need access. He doesn't need approval. He doesn't need invitations to award shows. He just talks. And when he talks, millions listen. Let that sink in. For years, Meghan Markle's critics have been dismissed as racists, misogynists, jealous royalists, or bitter tabloids. But Joe Rogan doesn't fit any of those boxes. He's not obsessed with the monarchy. He's not emotionally invested in Harry and Meghan. He's not part of the British media machine. He's an outsider. And outsiders asking questions are far more dangerous than enemies making accusations. Because this time, the audience didn't hear anger. They heard confusion. They heard disbelief. They heard laughter, the kind of laughter that says, wait, this doesn't make sense. And once people start laughing, the spell breaks. Now, let's rewind for a moment. For nearly 10 years, the public has been fed a very specific origin story about Meghan Markle, the struggling actress, the woman grinding in Hollywood, the feminist outsider who clawed her way up against impossible odds. It's a powerful narrative, and to be fair, it worked. People rooted for her. They defended her. They excused inconsistencies because the larger story felt inspiring. But here's the thing about inspirational narratives. They collapse when timelines don't align. And that's exactly what Rogan, intentionally or not, poked at. He didn't accuse. He didn't declare guilt. He simply mocked the contradiction. Privacy while courting attention. Independence while relying on allowances. Struggle while surrounded by luxury. And suddenly, the internet did what it always does when it smells hypocrisy. It dug. Not emotionally. Not politically. Logically. Now, let's talk about the word that's setting off alarm bells in Montecito. Yacht. This word alone has more power than any insult. Because it's not about boats. It's about access. In elite circles, yachts aren't vacations, they're invitations. And invitations don't go to people without value. That value can be talent. It can be connections. It can be proximity to power. But it's never accidental. And that's where the questions begin. If Meghan Markle was truly broke, hustling, barely surviving, how is she present in spaces that require extreme wealth or extreme influence? Not once. Not twice. Repeatedly. Now, before anyone gets emotional, let's be clear. No one is condemning someone for their past. The issue is the story. Because Meghan didn't say, I networked aggressively. She didn't say, I had benefactors. She didn't say, I moved in elite circles early. She said she struggled. And those two realities don't coexist comfortably. That contradiction is what Harry is now being forced to confront. Imagine this from his perspective. Harry grew up in a world where class lines were clear. Aristocracy didn't mingle casually. Social climbing wasn't romantic, it was strategic. If he believed he was rescuing someone from hardship, and that belief turns out to be incomplete, that's not just embarrassing. It's destabilizing. Because Harry didn't just marry Meghan. He bet everything on her story. He used it to justify breaking from his family. To justify attacking the institution. To justify burning bridges with lifelong allies. So when Joe Rogan mocks the idea of free money and allowances, it hits deeper than people realize. Because Harry didn't escape privilege. He traded one system of dependency for another. And now, people are asking if Meghan's independence was ever real or just rebranded reliance. Now, let's talk about the silence. Because silence is louder than denial. If this were untrue, we would have seen swift action. A statement, a clarification, a reframing. Instead, nothing. And that tells you the legal reality. You don't sue when discovery could destroy you. You don't invite scrutiny when receipts might exist. You don't poke Joe Rogan because, unlike tabloids, he can afford to fight. And Harry knows this. Which brings us back to his reported reaction. This wasn't public outrage. This wasn't a press release. This was personal. Sources suggest Harry feels humiliated, not because of mockery, but because he may be the last to understand the full scope of Meghan's pre-royal life. And if that's true, the psychological impact is enormous. Harry's entire identity post-royalty is built around protection. Protecting his wife. Protecting her image. Protecting their truth. But you can't protect what you don't fully know. And that's the crack forming right now. Now here's where it gets darker. Because this isn't just about Meghan. It's about who remains in her orbit. Friends come and go. Family is cut off. Allies disappear. But certain figures never leave. And when the same name keeps surfacing at every turning point, introductions, access, opportunities, people start connecting dots. Not maliciously. Curiously. Who opens doors? Who facilitates connections? Who bridges worlds? These questions matter. Because in elite spaces, nothing is random. Now, let's zoom out. Why is this moment different from every other scandal? Because this isn't driven by hate. It's driven by disillusionment. Former defenders are speaking up. People who once believed the narrative are saying, "I feel misled." That's the most dangerous phase of public opinion. Anger fades. Hatred burns out. But betrayal? That sticks. And Harry knows it. Because once the public stops seeing Meghan as a victim, the entire Sussex brand collapses. No more moral high ground. No more lectures. No more us versus them. Just two extremely wealthy people demanding sympathy they no longer qualify for. And Joe Rogan, intentionally or not, accelerated that realization. Now, ask yourself this. Why did this hit Harry so hard? Because jokes reveal truths people are afraid to state outright. Rogan didn't prosecute Meghan. He didn't investigate her. He laughed at the contradiction. And laughter spreads faster than outrage. Now, let's talk about timing. This happened while Meghan is trying to relaunch herself. New ventures. New branding. New authenticity. And suddenly, the past refuses to stay buried. That's not coincidence. That's consequence. The more you rewrite history, the more fragile it becomes. And once the public starts fact-checking emotionally driven narratives, the collapse is swift. This is no longer about yachts. It's about trust. Do we trust what we were told? Do we trust what we're being sold now? And most importantly, does Harry trust it? Because if even a fraction of this is new information to him, the implications for their marriage and their brand are severe. Not explosive. Slow. Quiet. Erosive. The kind of damage that doesn't trend but never heals. So where does this leave us? Meghan can't respond without amplifying the story. Harry can't attack without looking defensive. And silence only confirms suspicion. It's a perfect storm. And Joe Rogan didn't create it. He just pointed at it. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Harry's reaction proves he was blindsided? Or do you think this is calculated outrage to shift sympathy back toward them? Is this unfair scrutiny? Or the natural consequence of a story that no longer adds up? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more deep dive, unfiltered royal commentary, the kind mainstream media won't touch, make sure you subscribe. Because this story isn't ending. It's only just beginning.